This easy-to-follow video course will show you how to run a PRINCE2 project, and this will make PRINCE2 a lot easier to understand. Actually, it helps to bring PRINCE2 to life. I will use Trello to support this project, and I will also use a free, simple Chrome extension that I have created, as this extension offers some good functionality that supports PRINCE2. You can also create then your own Trello account, and you can use this to run your PRINCE2 project. So how best to start a PRINCE2 project? Well, let's start with introduction to the project idea. Here we have a company called U2 Driving School. The services it offers driving lessons, and the idea is to offer an online driving test exam simulator to gain extra clients, as the number of clients is decreasing by about 5% each year. So by offering this free online exam test simulator, it hopes to attract more people and increase the number of customers. This is an overview of the different steps in the starting up a project process. And as you can see, the trigger for the project is the project mandate. So this is a reminder of the contents of a project mandate, and it covers the why, so why the project is needed or what problem does it solve. The what, an idea of what the project should create, if that's there, it should be there, and the cost. Perhaps we have an idea of the costs already, or this could be a first estimate of the costs. This is the project mandate that I got from our CEO. So let's read it. Create a free online driving test theory exam simulator to help new drivers pass the driving test exam and attract more young people to our driving school for driving lessons. And then the reasons for the project. Sales have been falling on average 4% for the last 5 years, and this has reduced the profit each year. So the company wishes to increase the sales by 10% a year for the next 3 years. So now a quick introduction to Trello. So I created a new Trello board by clicking on here, create board. Then I got to type in the name of the board, which is U2 Driving School. Then I created a list here, added a list name called Starting Up Initiation. So all the documents we create to use to manage the project will come in this list here. And I have created a new card here for project mandate and given it the number 01, because every document can have its own number. So now I can add the text here. I click on here, and then I just copy the data from the CEO into here, and that's my project mandate document. So now if I click here, I can see this is the information that's here. And because this is being created and it's complete, I can then label it as done. So if I click on here, I label it. These are my document labels and these are my product labels. So if it was still in draft, I would do it like so, but it's fit complete, so I'll put it like so in green. Okay, and then I can assign it to myself as well for now. We can make this text look a little bit better as well. If I put star here, it's part of the markup language. We can take out the draft because it's not a draft anymore. Then I can put in a minus sign here like so. Okay, now if I click save, that's how it looks. So it's much easier to read. Okay, so that's it for the project mandate document. Now the first step that we have to do in the starting up a project process is to appoint the executive and the project manager. So let's then create a new card and call it project team, like so. And then I have this information here that the executive will be the CFO, which is Robert Geldof, and the project manager will be me, let's say Frank Turley. So we'll put that information in there. And okay, so that's our, let's say, a draft project team for the moment. And let's put this in as a draft document because it's not completed yet, because there are other roles that we have to do. So what's the next activity? The first actual document that the project manager will create is in this activity here, Appoint Executive and Project Manager, and that document is a daily log. So I've already added a daily log here, just to give you an idea. If we click on here, I've added 2 entries, and now I will add one more concerning risk information which I got. We've learned that other companies may do the same, which will affect the future benefits. But then again, if that happens, we need this project anyway to hold on to existing market share. So that's just an example of a risk in there. And I will continue to update that as I hear about more information in the project. So that's my daily log here. The next activity is capture previous lessons. So here we create the lessons log. And the lessons log is used to gather lessons that will be useful for this project. We can gather the lessons on post-its or a database or a spreadsheet, but here again I will use another Trello card. I've created a new column here for all the register and log files, and I have already added the lessons log. So if we click on here, let's add a new one. And this one reads, Leo set up our existing website and he has good experience. So it's a good idea to involve Leo on this project as a configurator for our website. That's good. Then we have some marketing ones here. So use the keywords in the URL. So our site name, U2 Driving School / Driving Test Exam Simulator, because that will relate to the most often keywords people do on a Google search. And then, for example, here, give out badges that people can display on Facebook. This will attract new people and also allow people to register using their Facebook accounts, because this is better for marketing and sharing the results. Here as well, I've chosen the label log register here, and I'll do the same now for the daily log. I'll move that over here. I'll rename it to 91, and I will click it like so, and then I'll have my register and log files in one column here. Okay, so that's it for the daily log file, or the lessons log file for now, and more lessons can be added during the project as we learn about new things or new ways that we can make the project better. The next activity is design and appoint the project management team. Now we already have the executive and the project manager that was given to us at the start of the project, and the other roles are then we have Robert is the executive. We have Michelle O'Leary, which is a sales and marketing person. We've got me, Frank Turley, which is the project manager. That's easy. We have the developers. We have non-internal, and we have office manager, who's Laura Mullen. Okay, so let's see how we can build this up here. And this is what I suggest. We have the executive, as I said, is Robert. The senior user is Michelle O'Leary, because they are responsible for sales and marketing, so that's a good profile to have. They're most interested in having this application. The senior supplier is the office manager, because they are used to purchasing and dealing with outside suppliers. So that's Laura who will do that. The project manager is me then. Project assurance, it's a small project, so the project board will do it themselves, and they will also do the change authority themselves. And I've written down here in grey text, well, we have a developer that sometimes we work with. His name is Eric Dumar. I'm just mentioning that here. He's not really part of the top level of the project management team, but he is a person that will mostly do the development, so we'll put that name there. So now let's put this information into Trello. So I'll click on the project management team here, click on edit, and then copy and paste in this text like so. And then if I click on save, I can see then this is the project management team here. So at the top we have the project board members, the executive, senior user, and supplier, then the project manager and assurance and authority, and then the developer at the bottom. So now let's change that to done for the moment. Okay. And now we can move on to the next task. The next activity after design and appoint the project management team is prepare the outline business case. But part of this as well is to create the project product description. The project product description is normally a 1 to 2 page document, and it gives an overview of the final product. So just think of the technical specifications of a car or of a portable PC. That's just usually one page, and that gives already a good idea on what the end product would be like. So here I've put in the headings in it. So the headings would include the purpose, acceptance method and responsibility, the customer quality expectations, composition of the main parts, derivation, which means source products, and the development skills required. Now there's one heading missing here, but I will put that in under checklist, and that's acceptance criteria, because they will appear like a checkbox which we can fill in at the end of the project. Okay, or we can check these off at the end of the project, and that's why I put them like that. Now rather than just putting in all the information bit by bit, so now I'll open this again and we'll see that it's fully populated, and you can see that under each heading I've added extra text. So under purpose, we put the purpose information, why it's there. We have our acceptance responsibility. So for example, at the end of the project manager will go over the acceptance criteria with the senior user. The acceptance criteria is down here, and we'll click off one of these one by one. The customer quality expectations, the main parts that make up the project, the source products that we will use to create the final product, and the development skills required as well. And that's the acceptance criteria. And as you can see, they all begin with the letter. So the M stands for must have, and the S stands for should have. So the must have are more important, and then the should have are they come in second place. So we should try to deliver all the must have first, and then the should have. There then we have the requirement, and then it's yes or no whether we have delivered it or not. So that's something which we will go over with the senior user at the end of the project to show that we have delivered what we want. Now, as well as that, that's a very good overview of a project product description. So anybody associated with the project after reading this will have a very good idea on what the project is trying to do. And that's one of the goals of the project product description, as well as giving our first idea of the scope of the project. So actually all the deliverables here, that's the current scope of the project. So let's say now this is complete. It's still in development mode, but let's say it's been signed off. So I go from development to done. And of course, I should have attached myself to it there because I'm the one behind it gathering this information. Okay, so that's it for the project product description. Now again, there are two outputs here, or two products which we create as part of this activity, create the outline business case. So we've just done the project product description, and now it's the outline business case itself. So let's have a look at the typical contents or the makeup of this document. So we have the executive summary, which is usually short, a couple of lines, so to give a high-level overview of what the business case is about. Then the reasons for the project, those will mostly come from the project mandate. The expected benefits and disbenefits, these are long-term benefits which we should get from the project, and it's why we're doing the project. The timescale, so when the project will be delivered, and the benefits, we will get the benefits. The costs, that's the cost of creating it and future maintenance. The different options we considered, and we can probably suggest one option to go. And then the investment appraisal, so this is our long-term benefits versus our costs, and any major risks which we have outlined. So let's create a new card here called Outline Business Case. Give it the number 04. Then we'll put that as a draft for the moment. I'll assign myself. The layout is too complex to put into here. So what I will do is I will link to a shared spreadsheet which I have on Google Sheets, and then we can then view that. So if I click on attachment, then if I put the link in here, so you can attach a file or you can attach a URL link. So I'll do that here, put that in, click on, I can put in the title here of the document, attach, and now I have this document here. Okay, so now if we click on this, it will open up the business case and I can discuss it with you. So let's zoom in here and I can go over this document, 125%. So the name of the document is the Outline Business Case. So it's our first version of the business case. Could also be called a draft business case document. The project is the U2 driving school test exam simulator. The executive summary: create an online driving test exam simulator with 300 Q&A. The main benefits, long-term benefits, are to increase sales by 10% for 3 years, which is a good goal. The reasons for the project: well, today sales are falling by 4% each year for the last couple of years, so that's some pain. We have already have these questions, so we don't have to create them. We can just use them in the project, which is good. We will allow students to post pass or badges results on Facebook, and that will attract other people and will help increase our sales by 10% a year. Okay. Then do the different options. The first option we should always consider is do nothing, because then we can compare that against doing something. So if we do nothing, we will continue to lose 4% each year, okay, which is not so good. Option 2, which we considered, was a big marketing campaign to promote the driving school, but this is far too costly and it will be forgotten about within 1 year, so we won't benefit much from it. And number 3 was create an online driving test exam simulator, because this seems to be the best return on investment that we can go for at the moment. Then timescale. So we can be up and running in about 3 months from when we start, and I should also add in the timescales of when we will get the benefits as well. The major risks: these will come from the risk register in the future, and now they'll come from the daily log. And we believe that the major risk so far is that other driving schools may do the same. Now with the costs here, you see that I have this layout here, which is hopefully easy to read. We have year 1, year 2, year 3, so I'll take you through this. At the bottom we have our yearly costs. So our cost of hosting and software, this is the same each year. The website and setup, the main cost is in our first year. We don't have these costs for the year 2 and year 3. So the cost is 6,700. And then website support, that will be basically the same for each year as well. So the total for year 1 is 8,000, while year 2 and year 3 is 1.3 thousand euro. Then if we look what benefits we can get, so if we get an increase by 10% each month, that will be on average about 1,500 per month increase. And then per year, that looks to be 18,000 for our first year, 19,000 for our second year, or almost 20, and then almost 22,000 for our third year. So then if we bring up the costs from here, add it to here, then we see that our benefit for year 1 will be 10,000, benefit for year 2 will be 18,000, and benefit for year 3 will be 20,000. So that's basically what we are going for, these benefits here. Okay, so that's a good overview of this outline business case document. And of course, this is based on questions which we ask in the starting up a project process. And this will be continued to be updated and refined as we continue with the project. But it's just there to give you a good idea. So the next activity is to select the project approach and assemble the project brief. So first, the project approach. Well, this is a small project, and we've already discussed the project approach while creating the project product description. So we have identified that we're going to use the existing website. We're going to get some new modules in there to create the extra functionality that we need. So I won't be creating a separate document for this because we have already included it in the project product description. And then assemble the project brief. Remember, these are all the documents which we create in the starting of a project process. So in fact, all of these are sections of our project brief. So I'm not going to create a new separate document. I will just leave them like that. And if you want to look at parts of the project brief, you just click on these documents themselves. So in a way, this list here is the project brief, except for the project mandate. And then the last one is plan the initiation stage. Again, this is not a complex project, so we don't have to create a long or a very in-depth project plan for the initiation stage. However, I have created a small plan. If we click on here, I see that we have this following information. So time is 1 week to do the planning stage or initiation stage. The people requirements, So the project manager, which is me, the senior user, senior supplier must be available, and the developer must be available. So that's, let's say they will give us feedback on what we can and we cannot do. Then the executive must also be available, because if we have questions related to finance, then it's good to have feedback there. The main deliverables will be the product breakdown structure, the product descriptions. So for each item, or for most of the items which we detect in the product breakdown structure, then the project plan to show when all this is possible, and the business case as well. So that's the main deliverables from the initiation stage. After that, then, the next step is to request to initiate a project. So after we plan the initiation stage, the next thing the project manager does is to request to initiate a project. So here they request to the project board to ask them, can we continue with the project or not? And this is where then the project board decide, is it a go or no go decision? So the people from the project board will come together, and this will be their first meeting, and they review the following information from the starting up a project process. So they review the project product description, as this gives a description of what the project will deliver. They review the outline business case, and this should be already known to the executive because they normally help to create this. And then they review their project management team and make sure that they can free up their resources and the right people are working on the project. So the big decision here is it a go or no go, and what long-term benefits does it bring to the project? And once they make the decision, then the project is allowed to continue. So that means that the initiation stage or the planning stage will actually start. And actually, this is when the project really starts. So according to PRINCE2, the project starts after this first decision by the project board, and the decision is called authorize initiation.